Today I want to take you along for a little day in the life, winter edition, or should I say spring. After my morning coffee and breakfast together, the baby goes down for his nap and I head out to feed and let out the animals. I like to take an extra minute or two to walk around the property, soak in a little bit of silence, and listen to the birds. On this day in particular, I had a lot of homemaking tasks on my agenda. Feels like I've been slacking a bit, so it was nice to cross it off the list. I had a few things to tidy, refilling flour from the bag into the canisters, finally moving the honey we harvested from our bees from the giant bowl, taking up space to a half-gallon mason jar for storage. This feels like a bittersweet as our bees died again and we will not be getting new ones this year. But all is not lost as we still were left with almost a gallon of delicious honey. Next up, I'm working on a loaf of bread. We have guests coming this weekend, and so I'm starting bread days in advance, and I just have to keep the loaf in the fridge until I'm ready to bake. I actually learned this trick from my friend Lisa over at Farmhouse on Boone. I make a bunch of loaves at one time, and then you store them in the fridge and bake like every night. I really like to batch meals and ingredients as much as I can to make my life a little bit easier, and making bread like this really helps reduce the amount of time you're spending in the kitchen, and it gives you a delicious loaf of filling sourdough bread whenever you want it during the week. Next, I'm feeding my sourdough starter. Yes, I need to clean my jar. Maybe I will do that tomorrow, but I'm hoping to get a batch of bagels started later on in the evening. Lately, I have felt very blessed by the amount of dishes needed to be done. As a task I often dread, I'm shifting my thoughts on what a blessing it is that we have food to eat, lots of mouths to feed, and it's really a lovely time I feel like I get to spend with God. On this particular day, we had a lot of dishes because we were busy the evening before and we just never got around to it. My oldest and I sit down for some school time, and then somehow it's already lunch. And on this day, we're really running out of options. We desperately need to head to the store. The kids requested nachos, and I made mine into a taco salad. The next chore on my agenda is organizing our long-term food storage. One may call it a working pantry. We had just made a Costco run the day before, and so there was just some things I needed to organize. And this is something I've been really working on over the last year, making sure that we're keeping a stock of pantry items for emergencies, daily life. It just makes life a lot easier when you always know you have something on hand. And I buy things here and there as the budget allows. I don't just buy lots of stuff at one time. My favorite places to buy stuff for the working pantry is Costco and Azure Standard. They have the best prices by far, especially for certain things. My go-to for Azure is dry goods like oats, wheat berries, and beans, and they're so much cheaper than other places. I also bought my camel lids from there for the food storage. Something else that I have been making lately in order to help save some money is kombucha. My husband loves kombucha, and so I have been working on creating it ourselves, and so I am just putting away our second ferment into the pantry. So I'm grabbing some soft wheat berries to grind in my grain mill. I've been working on recipe testing my favorite sourdough blueberry muffin recipe with freshly milled grains rather than all-purpose. It's still not perfect, and I'm getting there. It's a little different when you're not used to working with it, and also I'm trying to convert it to using sugar because I've had multiple people ask me about using sugar rather than honey in the recipe. Spring is literally right around the corner, and the kids and I are starting seeds. They were so excited about this, and they wouldn't stop begging me to start them. It's been really fun to see the kids really take this on as their project. I actually had some women over to learn how to seed start, and I just kept thinking, if my 7-year-old can do it, everybody can do it. Because she waters them, she turns the lights on, and she is there watching them see them sprout. She's just so proud that she got to have a hand in this project. And so almost all of our focus since moving to the farm has been the outdoors. And this year we are finally working on the inside. Our friend made us these new doors for the bookcase to replace our broken ones. And I'm needing to just tidy up from life, from the daily use of games and cards and books. With this many people in this small house, we just constantly need to tidy and pick up, or it tends to get a little bit overwhelming. And that's something that I've really had to learn and change compared to our last house, which was a lot bigger. I felt like it was a lot cleaner all the time. But when you're kind of all confined into a smaller space, it just gets messier. We're here all the time. And so we just need to be more cautious and careful about picking up very regularly. In the afternoon, when the baby goes down for his second nap, I get to sit down with a cup of tea and do a little work. I'm excited to share that my website has been updated and is back in business. Not that I ever went away, but I haven't actually been blogging for about 2 years, and I'm really excited to share more recipes and DIY projects. So you should head over there and see the whole new look that it has recently gotten. Lastly, it is time for dinner, and this is a very stressful time in my household because there is a little somebody that is very cranky at dinner time. And so baby wearing is a must, and for this evening we literally are running out of groceries, and so I had to scrimp and scrape together what I could find. I had some leftover soup, leftover chicken, and some rice that I just kind of threw together, and so it had bone broth in it. It was still nourishing and nourished our bellies and kept us full. Thanks for joining me on a little day in the life winter edition.